Alright, so we're going to talk about squats today. So squats basically is a great exercise working on the hips, hamstrings and quads. But one thing that many people do is again they just jump onto the barbell back squat when they cannot demonstrate good range of motion when performing the exercise with body weight. So if you cannot perform an exercise with body weight, you do not have the right to progress to a heavier weight until you can show solid range of motion when performing that exercise. So we are just going to have Deepti perform a very simple body weight squat, and let's take a look. Just give us 10 reps, Deepti, hands out, arms nice and straight, and let's go. Okay. Great. Done. Cool. Okay. So once we can perform body weight squats, then the next progression is to perform goblet squats. So we would start with a 5 kg, move up to 7.5 and then just keep continuing right up to 30, 35 kgs. Again, some people tend to lean forward when performing body weight squats. So the goblet squat is a great exercise to teach the spine and to teach your body to stay nice and upright when performing this exercise. So let's take a look, Deepti. Make sure you have your the dumbbell pasted to your chest, shoulders back, elbows out a bit. Okay, and let's go. Nice. And when performing this exercise, again we want elbows touching the knee. We do not want to go too low. The famous concept of bum to grass does not work. Most people do not have that hip mobility to go so low, and again can be very dangerous. But you are hitting a pretty good range of motion if you are getting those elbows touching the knees, improving your hip mobility, and you are developing great overall low body strength. Okay, done. Alright, so we're talking squat mistakes. So very common problem we see in squats is people's heels coming off the floor as well as their shoulders dropping. So this is what happens very often as well when people do squats. Is the ankles tend to come off the floor, the body drops again, and this needs to be corrected. Alright, Deepti, so you can stop there. So a reason this happens is it could be due to ankle mobility issues, core strength, or a combination of both. So to correct this mistake, we can just, there's a very simple solution to this problem. We just move back, we place 2 plates on the floor and we elevate the heels. So basically, this almost always solves the problem. Okay, let's have a few reps, Deepti. Good. Alright, another mistake we see with people when performing the squat is going too low, hips dropping too low, and again that the hips tucking under the spine. Again, we get into that flexion position of the spine which we want to avoid. So this is a very common mistake we see as well. So let's go, Deepti. Yeah. So here Deepti is just going to perform the squat going really low, and you're going to see how her hips stuck under her spine and she's unable to maintain neutral spine when doing this position. Just a few more, Deepti. So the key to great squatting is to know how low you can go, and that's why we always use elbows to knees. So let's correct the depth, Deepti. Let's just go a bit slower. And you can see she's maintaining a great neutral spine when performing this exercise. Nice flat spine, elbows touch the knees and up there. So we are training safe, developing low body strength and maintaining a great neutral spine position. Excellent. Thanks. Good. Okay, so the next thing we want to look out for when doing the squat is we want to make sure the initial weight shift is with the hips, not the knees. So again, this tends to happen very often as well, where clients tend to push their knees forward first and then try to drop down. So Deepti is just going to show us what happens quite often as well. So we tend to see this a lot as well with squatting. People tend to push their knees forward and then try to squat down, where the initial weight shift is on the knees and it's not the hips. So, a very simple way to correct that is basically we can use the box to correct that technique. So, Deepti, you can just stop there. So, we will push the client against the box and we will use that as a physical cue to correct that mistake, and we will just cue them to think like they are sitting back on a chair and just perform that exercise. So, this is a great way to coach the initial weight shift to be on the hips and not on the knees. So, let us have a few more, Deepti. Excellent. Great. Good, done.